G'day YouTubers, and thank you for tuning in to today's very different video on YouTube. Now you may have noticed that I've actually got a bit of a very sore throat because of the Great Birmingham Run on Sunday that I was actually quite fairly excited about to see. Yeah, I have to say that the sore throat that I'm having, I'm just gonna pretty much zip it away, and I'm actually gonna basically announce something that, as you may have noticed, I've actually been a very relevant animator of MS Paint because I've been using it for years and such somehow. But in this video, someone's actually going to be a bit of a teaser because nervous to know so much say anything about how honest I am on new stuff and newfangled technology and other whatnot. I'm straightforward looking forward to other programs that I might be able to use later on so far in this month because as I'm working from home at the moment because of the college asking me to actually work from home at the moment because of recent events that I just don't want to talk about because, well, then I'd try and stay positive. That's like the most number one thing that I'm trying to do my best into. And I mean, I'm not going to pretty much say to myself, oh, I can't do it because life is just so bloody hard. When in reality, it's just a learning process. And that doesn't really seem to pretty much make everything bad in the world these days. So, as you may have noticed, I've been using Microsoft Paint, but I've also downloaded two new apps which will also be very useful for animating. And I know I've got Arbis Paint on my tablet, but I've decided to actually go ahead and try out Krita and OpenToonz, two of the newer apps that I've decided to download, or programs, computer programs, for animating and stuff. And the reason why I downloaded these two was not because of me, but it was probably because of college. And college have decided to try out for me because I'm actually working on those apps as a little demonstration to prepare for, guess what, for my animation career for approximately about 4 or 5 months' time. And so I've got a very croaky voice today because on Sunday, well, the Great Birmingham Run was pretty exciting, and that's why I found it to be quite interesting of late. So I've actually got both Krita and OpenToonz. Here it is, there's Krita and OpenToonz. You may have noticed that my computer has actually been running up for midnight and stuff. That's because, I've been playing a lot of relaxing sounds and whatnot. But there you go, that is Krita, as you can definitely tell. That's a nice looking front cover page of some weird anime furry type thing. It is quite nice to see. Lovely, isn't it? And of course, yes, I might try and do a dedicated video on showing you these two programs because normally I'm very familiar with Microsoft Paint, but for me, Krita and OpenToonz, I think when I tried Krita, it looked a little bit like Photoshop, whereas OpenToonz, it's pretty much like an animation system that I've never decided to try out into, and that is of course OpenToonz, which looks like that. It looks far much more complicated than what I've done in recent videos and whatnot, but what I can really say is that even though somehow whenever I look at this, and also when I look at this, it's quite interesting, so yeah, I'll see what I can do later in the day and stuff. I do tend to focus on Microsoft Paint, but then, I should try and start to probably focus on those two apps because of what college has actually told me to do. And I might try and see which one's the best because I want to see which one works well with me. I've tried Krita, but I've never tried OpenToonz because it actually did seem to remind me that of Photoshop or Adobe Animate. I think both of these two apps are kind of like cheaper versions of Adobe Flash or Adobe Animate or Photoshop in that general. So it's kind of like Adobe but on a much more cheaper basis. A little bit like my VSDC video editor, which is kind of like Adobe Premiere and Adobe Effects or After Effects, I think it's called. So I might give these two a go. If they're not as great, maybe I could just say, oh, they're not as great as Microsoft Paint. I still think Microsoft Paint is a bit better because I'm still working on that animation, but nevertheless, I'll try and do my best to accomplish making some really good salubrious animations in this video. So anyways, I'll probably have to leave this video here because there's quite a lot of complicated tools here. And I'm actually quite surprised. If you look at OpenToonz, on the very first, how would you say it, startup of this app, look how many tools there are. It actually has a very similar, closer relationship to that of Photoshop. It actually has a very similar feature to that of Photoshop. Well, I'm not sure if I can animate this because I'm more familiar with Microsoft Paint. But, yeah, I might try and give it a go if I have some very specific time to come along and animate something on Krita and OpenToonz if I have some time, and I don't have to pretty much say to myself, hey, you know, it's a bit somewhat difficult of like a little fat finger thing. Well, I don't want to probably sound like I'm going to reject doing it because that's what I'm built here for. So if you really enjoyed in this video, please give this video a like and subscribe for more Flipkart videos in the future. And this is actually just going to be a little prowess and a little teaser of what's to come. Although I've got a new animation project coming up sometime around late May or early June. Well, I really don't know because I could tell you what I'll go and say. It's been somehow somewhat very, very different to keep myself on contact and other whatnot. So, thanks so much for watching, and I have to probably leave my voice alone because my throat is absolutely croaky now. So, thanks a lot, and bye for now.